What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Before I start this video, I wanted to say thank you to all you guys for the continued support on these videos. When I first started making YouTube videos, I really didn't think this would go anywhere. I kind of just wanted it as an outlet to talk about things that I think people should care about when it comes to your financial foundation or getting to your goals slowly and over time. And just for someone who doesn't have a lot of friends to talk to about stuff like this, I want to just make videos and post them and voice my opinion online. And I'll be honest, I really didn't think they would get any traction. I figured I would get like 20 to 50 views a video. But I've gone up in subscribers, I've gone up in views. I love responding to the comments. I've tried my best to respond to all the comments and at least heart all the comments. And I like talking with you guys and seeing what you guys are doing to better yourselves. So it's just been really awesome. And I just want to take a second to appreciate you guys and say thank you for that. But getting into the video here, for this video, I wanted to talk about the three categories and three main things that I think most people forget to invest in. And these things matter way more than money does or any type of materialistic item does. And I want to talk about that because it's something I'm trying to get better at investing in these three categories. So those three categories are going to be mental health, physical health, and spiritual health. And when people talk about investing, and I'm one of them, it always comes down to money. It always circle back to money, whether that's stocks or real estate, crypto or index funds. And obviously, look, don't get me wrong. Those are powerful tools. We're all here to build our financial wealth. And I'm sure if you go up to anyone right now and say, hey, tell me about investing, they're going to say, oh, you got to take your money and you got to put it in somewhere or this. No one's going to talk about your physical, your mental, your spiritual health. But what I've come to realize and what I've seen over the years is some of the most important investments have absolutely nothing to do with your stock portfolio or your crypto portfolio. And it has everything to do with you and yourself and your alignment with how you feel. And today I wanted to share those things with you guys and let you know how I feel about them and what I'm doing to kind of invest in those things and why I think you should too. So let's break it down here. So for the first one is mental health. And I feel like, especially in my age group of being in your mid 20s and especially being a male, this is one that a lot of us forget to invest in. I'm sure there's females out there that forget to invest in this too. But obviously, speaking from a guy's point of view, I feel like this is something that a lot of us can really do better at investing in our mental health. You know, we live in an overstimulated and hyper distracted world. And if you're anything like me, someone who doesn't make a lot of money and is always chasing growth and is trying to build slowly and do the right things, it's really easy to burn out in silence. And what I mean by in silence is you burn out mentally, but you don't tell anyone about it. You don't express your feelings, and that can really weigh on your mental health. And I used to think that mental health was just avoiding anxiety or depression. Especially, like I said, from a guy's point of view, when you think about mental health, you usually are taught to just avoid it. Oh, if you have anxiety, push it to the side. Or if you're depressed, get over it, right? We've all heard that. Like, if you're a guy, you got to get over it. And I'm sure this, like I said, I don't want to exclude women from this, but I can speak from a guy's point of view. But I personally think it's deeper than that. It's your emotional baseline, it's your mindset, it's your clarity. And the truth is, if your mind is not right and your mental health is not right, absolutely none of your financial success is going to matter at all. So you want to make sure mentally you're in the right space, you're investing in your mental health, obviously as side by side with investing in your financial health, and you want to do it slowly over time. And the best thing is that when it comes to investing, I've always been one who looks at investing as something we do for long periods of time for proven success. So, for example, day traders trade stocks day over day. Investors buy and hold stocks for years and slowly dollar cost average into them. And with your mental health, you can slowly dollar cost average into your mental health. So, what I mean by that is some ways that I've tried investing in my mental health or that you can start is by journaling. And for example, you can do 2 minutes a day. It just helps, get everything off your chest, get everything out of your mind. Me personally, I never stuck to journaling, but one thing I do do, and this might be weird to you guys, but I'm just being open with you guys about it, is I talk to myself. So if I'm ever going through something really stressful, or I have a hard decision to make, or just an upsetting time, I talk to myself just to get it off my chest and get it out into the universe. And it feels good because I'm not holding it in my mental, health. I'm not keeping it inside and letting it build. I'm just getting it off my chest. Even if it's getting it off my chest to nobody, it still feels good to talk about it openly. Another thing that I have done is I unfollow and have unfollowed content that makes me compare myself. And that's a big thing that I struggled with when I had social media. Is I always was looking at these guys who were very successful and had the cars I wanted and had the watches I wanted, and I would compare myself to them. And obviously, the older you get, the harder it is because then you start seeing a lot of people younger than you achieve those goals. And it's something I struggled with where I would compare myself to these random people that I don't know anything about and just wasn't good for my mental health. It wouldn't depress me, but I would get down on myself, and that's just something you can't do, and it was weighing on my mental health. So I completely unfollowed that. I quit all social media pretty much. I have YouTube obviously, but that's something I did, and that's really helped my mental health as well. Obviously, some people, if you need to go to therapy for certain issues that have happened in the past, that's always an outlet. I've never been to therapy, but I've heard good things about it. Obviously, you want to make sure you're going to a therapist that is really going to be there for you and is not there to take your money. So that's something you got to do your own research on. Getting the right amounts of sleep. Sleep is super underrated. That also kind of ties into the physical health, but you'll hear a lot of really, really healthy people talk about getting the right amount of sleep. And, I feel like with the culture we live in of social media and doom scrolling and having everything and having access to everything 24/7, it's very hard to get the right amount of sleep nowadays. And then also saying no to energy draining people. So saying no to fake urgency. What I mean by that is if you have people around you that are constantly negative, maybe separate yourself from those people. Or fake urgency of people telling you, you need to be rich tomorrow or you need to be successful tomorrow. No one's going to put a time limit on you. You have all the time in the world to make these decisions for yourself, to grow, and to enjoy the journey of getting to where you want to be at. You don't need to do it tomorrow. You don't need to have your success overnight. So avoiding fake urgency and trying to enjoy the moment that you're living in now. And that's something I really struggle with, is living in the moment and enjoying the journey. But to sum that up, your brain is your most important asset. It's the headquarters for every decision you make, financial or otherwise. And look, you wouldn't want to invest in a company that had a CEO that was a chaotic leader, right? And your brain's like the CEO, right? You don't want to ruin your life or run your life with a chaotic CEO. So we want to make sure our mental health, we're investing in it. We're taking little steps every day to make our mental health better. Now, the next one is your physical health. So I'll be honest, for me, this is one I struggle with. I used to be really good at staying on top of my physical health, but lately I kind of zoomed out and I realized, man, I have not been investing in my physical health. I was kind of analyzing my day to day, and I did some math, and I've been working remote for about 3 years. And recently, from sitting at a desk and work's been getting a little busier, I came to realize I was sitting about 95% of my day. I was not using my legs. I was just sitting there, eating food, working. And I just did not feel good. I felt, as much as my portfolio was going up and my investments were increasing, I didn't feel good, right? And like I said, I took a step back and I'm like, man, physically, I'm just not there. I'm not putting the effort into my body to make myself happy. And what's crazy is I've seen, you ever see those like really old people who are like 75 and they look like they're 50? And these people aren't even rich, but they're just happy because they're in the best shape of their lives. And that's how I want to be. I want to be that person who's 70, who's still really fit, who's still jogging, who's still walking, getting their steps in, eating right. Because overall, how are we going to enjoy our wealth? I want to be one of those people that when I retire, if I'm a multi-millionaire when I retire, I want to be able to enjoy that money. I don't want to have to use that money on medical bills or have to use that money on anything other than being able to enjoy it and almost splurge in a way, because at that point I'd be retired, so I deserve it, right? And once again, just like the mental health, you don't need to become a vegetarian guru overnight and quit everything. It's literally simple, simple things. So, for example, with me, if you look at my shorts page, I'm going to start running 1 mile every day for the next 30 days. And I'm not even good at running. I'm pacing like 11 to 13-minute miles. Like, I'm slow. But I want to get up. I want to get my legs moving. You always hear these saying, what is it? You lose it if you don't use it or something like that. So, I'm going to start investing in my physical health. I'm not trying to compete. I'm not trying to get my mile time to a certain point. I'm not trying to lose weight. I'm not trying to impress anybody. All I'm trying to do is build consistency and to show up for my physical health like I do for my bank account. I would go to war for my bank account, but why would I not go to war for my physical health? So I hope that makes sense. I hope that kind of ties in together. So once again, the deal is you don't need to run marathons. You don't need to go to the gym for 2 hours. What I've been doing is I've been running 1 mile every day, and I'm going to do that for the next 30 days. And I do a little weight workout, and I'll literally do like 10 to 15 minutes of weights. And I feel great. I don't need to sit there for an hour lifting weights. And a healthy body is going to help you literally in every category. And what's cool is the mental health, the physical health, and the spiritual health, they all tie in together. So if you work on your physical health, your mental health and your spiritual health will get better, and vice versa. So a healthy body is going to help you show up better at your workplace. You're going to avoid medical debt and stress down the road, because stress is a big killer of a lot of people. You're going to build discipline, because fitness mirrors your habits. So if you can build discipline for fitness, you can build discipline for financial status or anything like that. And you're going to actually enjoy the freedom that your money's going to bring you. And it's not about looking a certain way. I'm not talking about you want to be a bodybuilder or anything like that. It's just about feeling good in your skin, feeling like you're doing something right. It's about feeling strong. It's about feeling capable. And that's wealth. And you can literally start with 1,000 steps a day, 2,000 steps a day, whatever it might be, and you can start that way to start investing in your physical health. Or maybe if you eat out every single day, maybe eat out 6 days a week, cook one night. You know what I'm saying? It's little things that are going to build up over time, just like how we do with the stock market. It's little things that build up over time. And the last one here, and this is one that some people agree with and disagree with, and that's your spiritual health. And this is one I personally feel like is not talked about, especially in the finance space. I don't know if you guys know this, but whenever you have like an AA meeting for people who have alcoholism, one of the things that they get people out of, or that one of the things they do to people who are alcoholics, who improve, is they get them in touch with their spiritual side. And this does not have to be following a certain religion. Please do not get me misunderstood. This isn't religion help. This is spiritual help. Health, not help. So when we're working on our spiritual health, we're not following a certain religion. If you want to follow a religion, that's awesome for you. But what really matters is you want to be about meaning. So me personally, I define spiritual health like this. How do you feel? How connected do you feel to yourself, to your purpose in life, and to something bigger than your day-to-day to-do list? So for me personally, some ways I've invested in my my spiritual health is I've tried meditating. I'll be honest, that one didn't stick around too long for me. But reading books, thinking beyond money and certain metrics. You can also follow back into the journaling like you do with your mental health. But one thing I've really liked doing for my spiritual health is I have a little book on my desk, and it's a daily devotions book for men. Now, it is more suited towards Christianity, but you open it, and it's just a little passage. It's like half a page long, and it's a Bible verse, and then it talks about the Bible verse, and then it's a prayer. And you can read each page in literally 2 minutes. You're supposed to read 1 page a day. And just a little investment like that. I think the book was $6. I bought it on Amazon. A little investment like that in my spiritual health has made me feel a lot better in everything else I'm doing. Because when you're connected on a spiritual side, you can start opening doors and opening your mind to things that matter a lot more and find a true purpose for yourself. And a lot of people who don't have a purpose are the ones that fail in life. And why does this matter? Well, because let's be honest, there's going to be times where the money does not motivate you. You see this all the time. You see ultra rich people who have no motivation, who are unhealthy, and are just not involved in their day to day physical, mental, or spiritual life, right? When your job feels stable, when the wins don't feel as good as they thought you would, that's when your spiritual wealth is going to kick in. That's when your mental wealth is going to kick in. Because when you know who you are and why you're doing this, that's when everything's going to start making sense. For example, let's say, if you guys don't know this, I mentioned this in one of my videos. My dream car is a 911 GT3 RS. Let's say I go buy that car tomorrow. After 2 weeks from now, yeah, I'm going to look at it in the garage and I'm going to think, man, I did it. I got my dream car. But that's not all there is to life. It's not all just working so I can get a 911 GT3 RS. There's more to life, right? I have a higher purpose in this world than just buying a car. That's not what I was put on this earth to do, you know? So that's why I try to stay in touch with my spiritual health, because that is going to allow me, when I get the goals I want and I do the things I want to do, that's going to allow me to keep staying motivated and keep, staying true to my purpose and my plan. And the scary part is, with those 3 categories I just mentioned, if you neglect them, you're going to realize you're neglecting them probably when it's too late. So, for example, most people only realize this when their body starts breaking down. So then they start investing in their physical health. Or when their mind is in burnout and they're depressed, then they want to start investing in their mental health. Or when they've made all the money and still feel empty, then they want to start investing in their spiritual health. The truth is, though, you can earn financial wealth while being completely bankrupt in every other category for yourself. So if you earn financial wealth, but you're bankrupt in the, physical, mental, or spiritual bank accounts, are you truly happy? And to me, that's not success. That's just complete imbalance. Real wealth is when you have the mental clarity to stay focused. You have the physical energy to enjoy life. You have the spiritual compass to keep you guided, and you know you're on the right path. That's the kind of wealth that we should all be trying to build, slowly, intentionally, and fully. And after we work on all that and we can enjoy all that, the financial part of it is going to be the easiest part, because we can invest every single day in finances. That's easy. I'm sure most of you do that already. It's investing in these 3 categories that I truly feel like is what's going to make you happy, and it's what's going to make you be a fulfilled person in life. So once again, we always want to keep investing. We want a dollar cost average into stocks, whatever you like to do. But don't forget to invest in your mind, your body, and your spirit, because that's the real portfolio that makes everything else worthwhile. We've seen it too many times where these ultra rich people are depressed, they're unhappy, they're overweight, and they have nothing to live for. And me, I don't want to be one of those people. I want to be one of those people that is rich in my mind, rich in my body, rich in my spirit, and the financial stuff is something on the side that I'm content with. So if you guys agree, or if this hits home, drop a like, subscribe. Tell me in the comments if you invest in these, and if you do, how do you invest in your mind, your body, and your spirit? Or what areas are you going to start investing in after this video? I appreciate you guys for being here. Like I said in the beginning, I really appreciate the support on these videos. I appreciate the comments, the subscriptions. It's really meant a lot to me, because once again, I didn't think I'd even have a community to talk to, but I almost feel like I'm having a little community to talk to now. So I really appreciate the support. I'll see you guys in the next one, and thank you so much for watching. See ya.